My name is Dayvid Figler. I'm going to be reading a piece I wrote called Keepsakes, which was a short story inspired by a sculpture from the artist Troy Gillette. Keepsakes. The big man had few precious gifts. As the years progressed, people would offer him first all manner of Roman-themed tchotchke, and then, of course, the clowns, preposterous clowns, porcelain and pewter, metal wire and marble, upside-down clown lamps with lampshades on their oversized feet, clowns shooting craps, clown jockeys whipping clown horses across a finish line. Despite being the arguable champion of chintz, he had deeper interests and better taste than a miniature assemblage of Harlequin Last Supper figurines, a gift he actually got. Knick-knack, who's there? Clown Jesus, I weep. Rare was the time the big man would have a dalliance outside of his palace. The customized bungalows, sunken bathtubs with gold-flecked vanities and crystal chandeliers draping down to the water like cascading falls, 2 and sometimes 3 levels of decadent fabrics and textures within grasp from any spot, the lazy couches, the hyperactive beds, every different suite an escape from the last. This was his sanctuary. Lucinda was a 21-year-old wine goddess. She had 3 children and was considered likable. The big man liked her slightly more than the other wine goddesses. He sincerely wanted to free her from what seemed like a rope around her nubile body. She had big eyes and an open mind, but ample worries and a penchant for situations that would ultimately come to the big man through the stepladder of idle gossip. He fixed things well. He gifted her, too. A Cadillac that gathered dust in her carport, a mink stole that sat atop the television like a runner under the rabbit ears. She was not swayed into his palace bungalow. This drove the big man slightly mad. On a particularly chilly night, she was getting off her shift. The big man had arrived late and was about to order the chef to cook him up something out of the closed kitchen. He made his typical pass at her, and while rebuffed again, she surprised him with an offer for dinner at her apartment. Nothing funny, she said, just dinner. I want to repay you for your kindness. He didn't hesitate. A short trip to Koval Lane behind the Flamingo, she lived in a small space. The 3 children in cribs and a daybed scattered. It was remarkably clean given the clutter, but what struck the big man most was the extraordinary assemblage of crafted works. Most were papier-mâché or something like papier-mâché, thick, pulpy pieces fashioned and pressed into familiar shapes, but unearthly. Well, maybe of this world, just not of this time. They were in every line of sight, some half done, some cluttered on one of the 2 crowded bookcases along the wall. All had a weight to them, both literal and figurative. The big man swirled in circles, cataloging the precious beauty of all these little arts. Where did you get these magnificent things, he asked. I make them, she said. My husband calls me the artiste, but I don't think he means it as a compliment. Ah yes, the husband, how is he? Unaccounted for, she said. Ah, yes. Do you really like them, she asked. The big man gushed. He did like them, very much. She said, I have a special one for you. I thought you might want this. In her hand, barely bigger than her palm, was a shoe. Well, not really a shoe, but shoe-esque. A tiny, pointy, black and white clown boot for a tiny clown. I made it from an old Bible. I found it in a box behind the casino, a box full of ripped up and worn Bibles. Bless the Gideons, I guess they give us a life supply of replacements. I wonder why the guests here are so tough on the Bibles, wear them to the bone. The big man stared intently at this shoe. It was a mishmash of pages that could have been stewed in a summer monsoon before being reformed by an alchemist. He could make out words here and there in the insole, the anatomy of the shoe rife with jumble of holiness, maybe the binding of Isaac, possibly Delilah seducing Samson.